Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm playing Kingdom of Heaven. And it's looking really poorly for the Muslims. Basically, they didn't achieve anything until now. The Christians managed to get Damascus on their side, and the Muslims, as I said, no progress for them at all. We're gonna come now to the replacement and to the muster phase, and I'll be back when I place the units. Okay, I kind of modified my house rule for this CDG solitaire thing. I still only know 3 cards completely, but I also know now the siege events of the other cards. And that makes sense because technically you could play all your cards during a turn as siege events, especially if you are the attacker. The defender can only play a single card, but the attacker can basically play as many cards as he wants. And that might bring, I think that will bring an advantage to the player who has to take the offensive here, which will be the Muslims. So maybe that gives them better odds. We see here now the Muslim cards. And apart from that, it's basically a restart. We see, and that's kind of what really bugs me. You know, it's basically every turn starts more or less the same way. Players mobilize the same way, and there are a lot of limits when it comes to the mobilization, for example, of the Muslims, because if they want to mobilize all their units, they can only do it the way I did it, and I could even, this single step, I couldn't mobilize anymore, or muster anymore. I couldn't do it. So there is not a lot of, strategic options here. With the Crusaders, it's a little different. They have definitely more options. They don't have as many troops compared to their strongholds. But still, you know, they also focus obviously on their main cities, and then it becomes also pretty obvious. And I think that demobilization rule is a pretty strange thing, because you have to collect your troops every year again and again. So that might be historically correct, but from a gaming point of view, I don't know, it's not the greatest thing. But anyway, let's do the turn. Okay, I have a feeling that the Christians are in a very comfortable position here. If they move out of their castles, they will be more vulnerable. So for now, there is no real reason to move into a castle. I want to play this card here for 2 points, but this is actually, or not for the points, this is a diplomacy card. Now, I can use that card to grab myself, to try to grab myself this diplomatic advantage. Now this card can be traded as a +1 or -1 modifier during the diplomacy roll. And you can get it by certain victories in the game, or conquering castles. You can use it, then you can spend it to get a free passage in a neutral country, or to, you can, after making a diplomacy roll, you can spend the marker to increase or decrease the result by 1. So I guess, I can also spend it to, for example, increase the diplomatic roll of the Muslims by 1. So that's kind of cool. And the way that works is, I play the card here with the diplomatic modifier, and if I roll a modified 3, I get the marker. Now if the other guy has it, I have to add 1 to the roll, so it's easier to get the marker. Yeah, if it's here in the middle. So we're gonna go for that, and I fucked that up, so that was a waste. But as I said, I don't really know what to do otherwise. And now it's the Muslims, and it seems they have a few interesting cards here. 3 points, 3 points. That's not too great. The heavy rains. Now that's not that great. It looked very good, but it only is good against Crusaders, and there are no real Crusaders here. These are all Christian units, but not Crusader units. However, these are 2 3-pointers, and that is definitely cool. So we can use them to activate our force. Question is again, where do we want to go? Probably build up a big stack here, and then try to go somewhere, right? I mean, that's now my attitude. It's a little bit of a shame, but I just don't know what to do else. So the Christian player played this 3-point card here to activate that stack, but that is cancelled by the heavy rains. Play on any activated stack. That stack may only move 2 spaces. Well, okay, it's 2 spaces, but so that's kind of a disappointment here. Question is, do I want to move at all then? Yeah, why not? Let's go here. There is, of course, a risk that they'll then move on to Jerusalem, but I think I'm fine here. Okay, and then we'll see what comes up next here. Now, And that's not bad. There are a few interesting cards here for an attack, for the siege, if you're the attacker. So, but I think I want to play that one here, the Trouble in Europe card, and then move that whole stack down here and try again to get Damascus. It seems to be the easiest city to take because it's out of reach of this stack here. And yeah, I think I want to try to get Damascus because the only one that really can go there is Manassas, and he's not that strong. The units in there are also not that strong. So yeah, I'm going to play the Trouble in Europe card. And then we're going to move down. Of course, we have the problem here with Aleppo. I mean, shit. Yeah, I want to leave 2 units behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm going to move like this. 5. I only have... Wait a minute, I can leave this guy behind. Now I can pick up this guy. Then I have 6 units. That might help a little. Okay. And then I'm gonna try to establish a blockade there. So here's the thing. If this player now plays these 3 siege cards, he has a real chance to maybe to bring down these guys. Let's see what we have here. The defender can answer to the first card. So let's see what we got. Maybe we want to play the weakest card at the beginning. Fill in defender's mode. Reduce defender RF by 1. We got that twice. So yeah, I think I want to do that. Let's do that. So that means this card is reduced, or the defense strength is reduced by 1. Resistance factor. Now I wonder if there's anything interesting I want to do. Increase resistance factor by 2 as countermeasures are taken. That's pretty awesome. However, this is the winter campaign and I want to hold on to that card. Play after opponent declares assault. Increase resistance factor by 1 before combat rolls. And that's also kind of sweet. Maybe I want to hold on to that one. Seems like a cool idea. I think I might want to hold on to this card here. But let's... yeah, why not? Okay. On the other hand, you know, I mean, if I can bring this up to 7, is that even possible? Yeah, it is. There's a marker for 7. I mean, I'm pretty safe there, and maybe I shouldn't risk too much here. I don't know what he has, though, so I think on a 1 to 3, basically I decided to keep the card. I'm only going to play it on a 1 or 2. No, I'm going to hold on to the card because I think he doesn't have that many attack cards, and I'm still feeling safe here, especially with the secondary defense constructed. So I think I'm fine, and I hope that doesn't backfire on me. So then he continues playing, and he plays now this card again, which reduces this again by 1. So we're down to 4. Then he's going to play that one. Construct a siege tower, reduce the defenders by 2 and draw a replacement card. Holy moly, that's another one. You may make a blockade roll if stronghold is not a port, or play to cancel sortie by besieged. The lines of circumvallation. Well, that doesn't help him a lot, but we can reduce this thing by 2, which is pretty awesome. So it's now down to a 2, and now we're going to try the assault. And at that point, I'm going to play this one here. The secondary defense is constructed. Play after opponent declares assault, increase resistance factor by 1 before combat rolls, and draw a replacement card. Okay, there we go. So now I got a resistance factor of 3, and now we're going to see how that all works out. So the basic value is here. He lost 2 steps due to attrition. So the basic value is 8, 10. Oh boy, that sucks. Yeah, it's fucked. The secondary defenses fucked him up. That's an 8, it's a 10. So that brings, well, he might be able to do it, but it's very unlikely. That brings him here to the... no, actually it's impossible. He's shifted to a... below the... he's shifted here below this column, so he can't do it. It won't work. But I think we're going to see an attack anyway, and these guys are simply caught in the defenses. But I think they cannot roll then or something. Let me see. So actually, the attackers simply will do no damage. The defenders have here basically, I think 4 strength points. So they roll on that column, and I think they get a modifier of +2. Yeah, because they are besieged. So let's see. That's a 6. That's pretty good, I guess. So that means they do 2 steps damage. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, so that means two more steps are lost, and the modifier or the resistance factor is increased by 1 because the assault did fail. Not too great. So what's going to happen now? I guess the Christians will prepare for their winter campaign here. So they might simply play that one. Can activate a friendly force because they're well supplied. They can ignore foraging or attrition value modifiers caused by harsh terrain. Enemy strongholds still trigger a roll. Well, so that doesn't really change things. We can move toward Aleppo like this with some guys from here. Not too many though, but at the moment I don't think there's a big risk here. So we're going to take all of them and move here. And then we can also try to start to besiege Aleppo. And resistance factor is 3, the base factor a +1 for the leader, so it's 4 and another 2. So yeah, it's also 6. We're going to try a blockade here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's not true actually. We only have 6 units, I think. 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's 6 units. That's not too impressive. And there are 2 units in here, I guess. Yep. So that means we got a roll of 4 or less to be successful. And we fucked that up. So we got to try it again next turn, if we want to try it at all. And, well, what next? I wonder what happens if they move toward Jerusalem here. These guys, if they move here, the city is not very well protected. They would suffer attrition, that's for sure. But they have a good chance to blockade the city. The question is, what would be the resistance factor of Jerusalem? The starting point is a 3 plus 1, so that would be also a 4. So it doesn't really make a big difference here. You know, before I move back now again, trying to attack these guys, and I'm far too weak to do a successful attack here, I think, I think I want to continue my siege against Damascus, and I might consider rolling rolling that card for starvation, because then they got to roll on the attrition table, and I think they have to add 3. So that could be an option. I think I want to do that. So there are, I think, 4 units in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that is correct. So we got to roll on that table here. I mean, this isn't too impressive, but still, you know. But if you don't get the resistance down, that doesn't help a bit. So I think I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to try the Fortunes of War. I'm simply going to throw this card away and draw another card and simply resolve the siege event. And that kind of sucked. Besiegers' supplies run low. Increase the resistance factor by 1. Well, yeah, that's bad. Besieging army must roll for attrition, adding 4 to its attrition value. Great. But you know, I have to try it. I mean, starving these guys down doesn't really help me a lot, because next turn they will come back anyway, and I got to bring down this thing if I want a chance with a final assault or something. But well, it didn't happen. Instead, this goes up to 5. And I'm pretty sure we can forget it for this turn. And I'm pretty sure if we don't find a way to influence Egypt, we can forget it for the whole game here. So then we're going to roll a die, adding 4 to the value. Okay, so we got, I think, 6 units. So let's see. That was close. That's a 7. Boy, it sucks. So I think we're going to lose 2 steps here. Great. Yeah. And when it comes to attrition rolls, you have to give the step losses to full units. So you cannot remove a unit or something. That's not allowed. Okay, well, that was a pretty bad idea, I guess. But this is the Fortunes of War action. You can just discard a card, draw the top card, and hope for the best. That's what they did. And they didn't do too well here. Well, the Christians, they want to try again to blockade the city. So they're simply going to play this card here. And yeah, that then allows me to roll again a die. But I have to roll for attrition too. But anyway, let's do it. And this time I did it. It's a 4. That's exactly what I needed. So I managed to blockade Aleppo. Have to roll for attrition here, because basically I moved out of the space and back in, because only if you enter a space you can try to blockade a city. So that means we have now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Roll a die. That's a 1. That's pretty good. So we don't lose anything. Well, actually we had to add 2 because of the city, but still we're safe. Lucky me. Well, basically we just went around the corner in a neighboring village or something and came back. So no attrition here. And now we can do a siege. But first it's this guy here. Well, what does he want to do? Puh. Well, the line of circumvallation, you may make a blockade roll. Well, that doesn't help a bit. I don't know what he's gonna do. He could activate the force and attack here, but that doesn't really help either. Because he's probably gonna lose. He might give it a shot. Oh boy, hard to tell. I don't see any options. Maybe he can maintain that siege somehow, but so he might actually go for the attrition roll here. There is a chance, I think, if you roll a die or something, that you can maintain the siege here. But then I think only 2 units could remain here, which would be an easy prey for the Christian player. But I don't know what else to do. So I think I want to try that. And that's so fucking painful. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. So they got to roll for attrition. The guys inside the city, these are 4 units. They got to add 2 to the roll. So that's a 5. So they lose 1 step here. That's something. I mean, in case the city should be empty one day, they also win. There's no garrison apart from these units in there. That's different to castles, by the way. They have some kind of intrinsic garrison. Here, with the cities, that is not the case. Okay, so now only the Christian player has cards left. So they're going to play the Construct Siege Tower card, which allows them to reduce the defender's resistance factor by 2, so it goes down to 4. And then they can play the Winter Campaign here. Play as your last card to activate a friendly army. The moving force need not be demobilized at the end of the turn. That's pretty awesome, because that way they can maintain that siege, and they have really good odds then when it comes to taking Aleppo next turn. And if a city is blockaded, as it is here, it means that there can be no reinforcements or no muster can happen in that city. So yeah, Aleppo might actually fall, and then the Muslims are pretty much lost. If that should happen, it will bring them down to 0 points. And so, yeah, that's... They didn't manage to take the city here. We're going to try to keep a few units there, so maybe we can maintain that siege somehow. If it helps a lot, I don't know, but I don't know what else to do with the Muslims. Okay, if the leader is currently besieging a stronghold, he must roll less than or equal to his battle rating to stay in the field over the winter. And then he's allowed to hold a number of units equal to half of his command rating, if he is the ranking leader. So that's not too much. He could only hold 2 units then, if he rolls a 3 or less. Is that so? Battle rating, yeah, that's the case. Okay, let's see. And he made it. So that means at least he can keep 2 units here. But obviously this is a very weak force. I wonder where this Emir guy is. Ah, he's in here, yeah. Now this is a very weak force, and I wonder if I really should do it, to be honest, because I have no leader to bring the new troops from Mosul down there. So actually it seems like I cannot even do that, because with these 2 guys I will not be able to make a successful siege there. So yeah, I have to demobilize all these suckers. There is simply no way around that. It sucks completely, but I don't see any other way. So this goes away, and that means that yeah, because otherwise all the units from Mosul simply are captured here, because I don't have a leader to bring them into play. Fantastic. So yeah, we can only hope for an extremely lucky roll for the Muslims to get the Fatimids on their side. But even then, if they're going to lose Aleppo, I think this game is over, and it won't go beyond the 4th turn, which is fine, because, to be honest, I don't enjoy it a lot. Okay, so yeah, let's. I'm going to finish that, and then see you in the next video, or on lonesomegamer.com. And I'm already back, and actually it seems like I made another mistake, because the game is already over. I just didn't realize it, but it's pretty obvious that it actually is. We're done with the 3rd turn here, and wait a second. The scenario book clearly says that on the 4th turn a crusade will arrive, and it only makes sense if that actually would happen yeah, here on turn 4, if the Muslim player has 6 or more victory points, and it only makes sense if that would happen at the beginning of the turn. If not, the game ends with a Christian auto victory. So that's what we've seen here, a Christian auto victory. And as weird as this series now ended, as weird did the game feel, or especially the scenario. Maybe the game isn't that bad, but the scenario feels flawed, broken. I'm not sure. Maybe I kind of messed it up completely. But I don't think that the Islam player has a real chance of winning that scenario, because I cannot see how he can take any of these cities. He has only a very limited number of troops. He has only 2 commanders. And he has to gather his troops and then start somewhere, some kind of siege. And I mean, the Christians are overall, it seems, more powerful. I don't know what I've done wrong here. It's really hard to see for me. And I also find it hard to see how this game can actually work. I don't know. I'm very confused about that, because it had good ratings, and well, Callendale, for example, he really liked it, and I really honor his judgment. He usually yeah, I usually also like the games he likes, and but this is just a disaster. I don't know what I did wrong here, but I think a big problem is the demobilization. It destroys everything you want to do. You cannot really get a flow to the game, because you know you just start building up your forces. You just start some siege somewhere, and then you have to demobilize, and that's it, you know. And you got your reset button, you got your restart, you got to start again, gather all your units, try another siege somewhere, and then you got to demobilize again. You know, you can only leave very little units over the winter if you do not have a winter campaign with one of your leaders. Only half the battle rating. That's the number of units you can leave with that leader. So in this case it would be only 2 units, and that is one of the real good leaders, by the way. Maybe not one of the really, there might be some, I don't know, there might be some super strong leaders who have a higher battle rating. But at least in this scenario, this is definitely a very good leader. And if you do a siege, you even have to roll against your battle rating to see if you are allowed to keep that many units in the field over the winter. So this is not easy at all. The only thing that allows you to keep a reasonable number of units in the field is this winter campaign card. But if you don't have that one, it's very hard to do a longer lasting siege, especially as the Islamic player, because the Christian player will start every year, basically, or every turn the Christian player will start. Meaning if you're sitting somewhere with only 2 units to continue your siege to maintain your siege from the last year over the winter, you are just an easy target for for any number of units. They can simply, the Christians can simply muster somewhere near you, because they can actually react. So if you're here with 2 units or so, I can easily muster, I don't know, 3 units here and maybe 1 here and 1 here or so. And then I can simply start moving around, and, you know, I'm always clearly more powerful than the guys who remained during the siege. So, in this situation, as the Muslim player, all you could do is gather your troops and somehow try to finish the siege in this turn, which seems more or less impossible. The other option would have been to try some diplomatic actions. We did that here with the Fatimids. We tried some lucky roll, and yes, there was a 50-50 chance once that we could have done that, and then the scenario would have taken another direction. But I don't like that aspect either, because it makes, I don't know, just, you know, if it's just one die roll, which basically determines the outcome of the scenario, I don't know. So yeah, maybe the other scenarios are better. It's possible, but I think the main problem remains that you have to demobilize all your stuff, have to bring it back. It will be scattered all over the board for both sides. That's the problem. Except if you have Crusader units, because they don't have to demobilize, right? But all the other sides, all these small states here, and from the Christians, but of course especially the Muslims, they all have to demobilize, and if you want to bring them back into play, you cannot bring them back as one big army, but you have to scatter them all over the place, and it will take some time to gather some army, and by the time that happened, the Christian player can prepare himself, can prepare his defenses. So, I don't know. I just don't get it. Maybe I did something wrong. Might be historically correct, but it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. At least gameplay-wise, that was just a very stupid exercise in moving stacks around, rearranging them, moving stacks around, rearranging them, you know, doing this process 3 times, once each turn, and that's it. That's it. It was a complete waste of time in my opinion. But okay, sorry to say that. Maybe I come back to this one day with a different scenario. I might try it. As I said, the ratings are pretty high. So, I don't know. Might try it again. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't offer you a more interesting video. But yeah. Anyway, hope to see you again on the next video, on the next series, and maybe on my webpage, lonesomegamer.com. Bye.